Morning, welcome back. Well, I've got to apologise first because yesterday I didn't record anything. I got a little bit further without showing you. So yeah, sorry about that, but I'll make up for it today. Some parts came, so all the suspension bushes for the suspension unit, all the suspension bushes, yeah, the bushes for the suspension. They came yesterday. There was a couple of parts missing out the set though, which was a bit annoying, but I'll go into that. And the ball joints, new ball joints came as well. So I did the passenger side yesterday, and it was a bit full on. I was a bit busy all day. I didn't have the time to record this. So, to make up for it, I'm going to do the other side for you today, because I thought I'd better show you, because there were some awkward parts when I was doing the passenger side. On the bottom, on the trunnion, there was a little bit of fiddly bits, and there's some parts that are quite questionable. I don't know why they're designed in that way, but that's how they are, and I thought it'd be worth recording it and documenting it for you if you ever needed to do it. So there you go, that's what we're going to do today. Yeah. Right, so as you can see, I've got all new top ones, bottom ones at the back there. Sorry, shaky hand footage. And the new at the bottom here as well. This was an absolute nightmare to do, and I'll well, you'll get to watch me do the other side. Not cool. Morning, Rob. So yeah, I'll start by taking off the other side, and something's going on with that light. First things first then, disconnected the top ball joint, that bad boy there, and then I took off the track rod end. These can be quite awkward, and always remember to loosen this big nut, this I suppose the tensioner, the locking nut first, otherwise you'll be a pig of a job trying to do it afterwards. And then when you take the big nut off there, you've got to bear down on this unit and hit that to try and shock it out, and it should just pop out. It'll take a little bit of elbow grease and a couple of whacks. Right, now I've got to disconnect the brakes. Right, we're off. Sorry for the voiceover, but music in the background. So the biggest pain I had here was getting the brake line off. Absolute nightmare, it just twisted straight off. They're pretty easy to make new ones though, so I'm not too fussed about that. The next part, I had a trouble getting this right hand side off. You can see the bush and the bolt is still in there. It's rusted inside there. I couldn't get it off, so I had to grind it off with the grinder. Unfortunately, I had to be quite careful because above this bracket is a radiator hose there. I didn't want to grind that, so unfortunately I ground that arm a little bit, but I can weld that back up. Right, looking above, here's the upper arms. Now I want you to take note, these are not the same. The trailing edge is a straight one, and the leading one is more banana shaped, so don't mix them up. Top tip, guys, when you're taking things apart, and you want to keep the nuts and bolts, because some of these old threads will be imperial, not metric, and you'll be, if you're in the UK or the EU or Europe in general, they'll be hard to find nuts for these. So if you need them and you want to put it back on, put them back on, and then you can't lose them. Now before I take this over to the bench, I want to get these two arms off. The problem being the split pins, or the pin retainers that go through this castellated nut, they broke off on the other side and I had to drill them out, and I broke the drill bit doing it. So the drill bit's that small that, yeah, it's just so brittle. So what I'm trying to do is get these pins out, but I don't know where my mole grips are. Here, moly, moly, moly. Here, moly, moly. Moly, moly, moly. Oh, what? Oh, that might. Found them. Oh. So people are wondering why I love these, because they grip like a vice. That's on there now, that's not coming. And then you can, make your day even harder. But usually they're a great tool. So right, that's everything off. I've tidied these up. Like I said, these aren't bushings on the top of here. I thought they were on the other side and I tried to grind them off. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, they need to be on there. So on the other side I had to like weld it all back on and then grind it down to the right size. So on this side, just give them a bit of a grind, bit of a sand off, and then smash a load of grease on them. Because, well, they're going to need to do you for a long time. And you don't want them to rust or get covered in crap, so make sure you give them a bit of a grease. Give everything, while you're taking things apart, what on earth was that? When you're taking things apart, give everything a bit of a clean. You want to give it a clean and a grease and an oil, and then if you can, paint it as well. Well, the stuff that isn't mechanical, don't paint stuff that you're not supposed to paint. But regardless, take it apart, give it a clean, give it an oil at the very least, because I mean it's not been touched for potentially 50 years. So yeah, give it at least a once over. I mean, you're in there anyway, so you may as well. Right, to the bench. Right, so I need to so first things first, get this off, and then I want to get these. I'll do these first, drill these out, clean them out, get some sandpaper in there, grease them, new bushes in, and then I'll put these on first, not forgetting that the straighter one, remember these are not the same. There's one that's more banana shaped. That's the trailing. Hang on. Other way round. The straight one is the trailing side and the banana is the one on the front. So it goes like that. That's the front of the car. They go like that. Don't get them the wrong way round. Right. So these top ones are in two halves, and if you remember the banana's front, so they go in like that. Don't worry, because it'll look like it doesn't fit, but when you sandwich it up, when you bolt it up, that expands and fills that void in there. So don't worry about it, it's okay. And the banana in the front. Like that. You want your washer and your nut. It's a bugger to get them on, you might have to squeeze them up to get the nut to bite. Unless you're lucky. I'll bring you in and show you. See that? Well, I'll do the other side and then I'll start stripping all that lower pinion off. That is a nightmare. I'll edit it so there's no swearing.
I'll do it the other way. Let them do it the other way.
Right, there.
Hang on. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably should plug it in.
Would be a good idea. Yeah, sure.
Alright.
Right, don't move.
Alright.
There you go, baby.
Yeah. Nice one, Dad.
Goodness.
Oh no.
Well, that was the worst bit, wasn't it?
Oh no, it took us fucking ages to get it off yesterday.
Right.
Alright, good luck. So if you remember back to, God, it was a while ago, on my Instagram, me and Dad went to pick up a motorhome in Wigan, I think it was. It didn't run. Long story short, the owner was selling it very cheap because the clutch had gone in it. And he took it to a garage, and they took it all apart, said it needed a new clutch, said it needed a new gearbox, said all this, said all that. And told him the bill would be £2,000. So he said, forget that, big lad. And so he put it on the internet for sale. And me and Dad, well, we thought we'd go down there, just put it all back together and drive it home, but which wasn't the case. We had to get it towed home. Well, it's here now. We put a new clutch in it. The clutch, all the fabric had worn that much that there was none of it left, and it was just bare metal. And the bare metal had rusted onto the flywheel, which is why we couldn't get it to disengage, which is why we couldn't drive it home in the end. Well, we have had it all to bits out there in the muck and the rain. Me underneath there, gearbox oil everywhere. Took all the gearbox off, took the clutch out, new clutch, reconned everything in the engine bay, got it going. We're just getting it through an MOT now. But the back brake's sticking on one side, so Dad's just swapping the brakes out. But of course, the modern day equivalent for that model, it's all wrong and the holes are in the wrong place, and so he's struggling with that at the minute. Right, now I've got these off, I want to clear out the bushes because they're all different mix match of yellow things and different ones, and I'll press the new bushings into here and then attach it back to the lower trunnion. Oh, you can hear that rain. So these are the races. So small in. So there's a bigger aperture and a smaller aperture. The two bigger ones will go into the body, and the two smaller ones are what sandwiches the trunnion, which is that bottom part of the assembly that these move on and the brake moves on, if that makes sense. So we'll start with one of these. The bushes for these contain of a metal race or a bush, two plastic pieces that sandwich like that, and then on top of these, the rain, on top of these sits like a grease cap with a seal and a washer, which you all sandwich together, and that stops the sorry, the washer doesn't go that side. That goes like that. So there's the grease cap, the seal, and then that rubber thing goes in there, and then the washer goes on the outside of that. Right, and then that's one side. Right. Obviously, when this is all bolted up, that washer should seat inside this race, or this grease sort of metal retainer. But it's very easy to get this wrong and bend these over and buckle them, and then it's knackered. So it's not very well designed. Also, the next problem you'll have is you need to get the metal cylinder or the metal bush to sit inside that plastic bit, which it won't want to, because now that plastic bit is compressed. I'm going to show you this rain. Bloody hell. Nightmare. So back before I was rudely interrupted by the rain. So that, so again, so you've got this plastic piece, a rubber seal. Fucking hell, man. Fucking rain. Anyway, so you've got the plastic race, you've got this metal cap and the rubber seal. That sits in there like that, boom, and then you get the washer which finishes the whole thing, seals it all, right? So you put that in, and then you've got the metal race or the metal bush which is supposed to sit in there. It won't, because the plastic's now compressed as you've pushed it in here. And if you try to put the metal bush in the plastic thing first, you won't be able to get it into the other plastic thing. It's very awkward. So once you've got that in, sort of semi-straight, the easiest way I've found is to get a sand, get that in the band facer and make a short leading edge on it. So then that'll sit inside there, and then you can put your second lot on the top. There we go. With your washer. And now you can get that in the vise or the press and very gently press them together. Make sure, like I haven't just there, that you've got a washer on both sides. Otherwise you'll crimp over this retainer and the whole thing's knackered. So very awkward, very fiddly, but yeah, that's how I've worked out the easiest way to do it, is to get a leading edge on that bush, and then it holds it in there then. Yeah. Sorry about the rain. Nightmare. Right. Oh. Oh no, how fiddly does that... Yeah, that's it. Great. So you can see they're both on now, moving independently of one another. Obviously, tighten that up, get the split pin through there, and these should be stiff but not unable to physically move them sort of stiff as they were before. Yeah, I'll tighten that, sandwich them back up, new ball joint, get it all on the car. Jobs are good. As bloody usual, I forgot to put the bloody bushings in here, so enjoy watching me do that. Oh. These are more conventional bush. These are just a normal rubber bush, look, with a steel tube already pressed into them, incorporated in. How am I going to fucking do this? If I can get them started, I can put them in the vise. Oh, there's that grease. Get some of that grease on them. So, yeah, everything went not too bad. That bottom trunnion is a bloody nightmare. Well, it's not. It's an old-fashioned way of doing things. It's just a bit of a fiddle if you haven't done it before. As I found out doing it the first time, yes. As I found out doing it the first time on the passenger side. Oh my god. Why couldn't I have had like Lego or running as a hobby? Why does it have to be like this? Come on. Right, we're on, not quite in the middle just yet. What are you doing, Rob? You alright?
Yeah, I've got my shoulder screwed.
Ah, classic. Yeah. So I can get them in, but I'll show you in a second. The final difficulty is obviously they're not centered. You can see they're sticking out one side. So if I get a socket big enough and press them just so it's centered, I think. Oui, monsieur, oui, oui. Have to come out quite. Oh, see, it's stuff like this that is different between a professional and a hobbyist. A professional would have put these in ages ago. Here's me trying to cranch the whole thing. What am I doing? Oh, I need to come out. God knows why anyone would watch this. Okay. Oh, boom. Right, other side. Ow. The rain stopped now, thankfully. Bloody loud before. Hopefully you could see what I was on about. Do you believe in never love? All right. Hiya. See they're centered now, and that's me lot. Now it's ready to go on. Finally, so I'll get this on, tie all this together, and I can knock off then, go home, wash my carcass, pick up the dog. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Don't do that, kids. Throwing things around. Ah. Oh, there's always one bloody thing you forget in it. Balls. I forgot to change the steering rack gaiter, which is a bugger. So I'll have to do that, well, tomorrow now. I'm not doing that today. But I'll just not put the tie rod end on. Where are the mole grips? Here, molly. Mole grips. Mole grips. Wherefore art thou, mole grips? Ah. Mole grips. So one of the old bolts that I had to grind out of here, the head's still in it. So I'll just gently massage that out, which we have. I've got the bolts. I want to go in. Okay. Perfect. I'll get the other bolt on. Bolton! Right. It'll be good when it's finished. It'll be good when it's finished. Oh. How have I gone? Oh. Oh my God. Amongst men, gentlemen. Mwah. Right, get the nuts on there loose. And gentle ladies, forgive me. But I try not to forget you girls. On there first. Now I can put these on. sit in between there quite snugly. Between the straightie and the banana. That's the only part out of the kit that I got. It was from ANG, the Trunnion and bush set, and I was missing a metallic bush, and I was missing a load of washers and other bits and bobs, which I was a bit disappointed with, especially the amount for the cost that it was, which was 70 bloody quid for bits of rubber and bits of metal and some nuts and bolts. But ring them up immediately, they're very apologetic, and they send out some parts straight away without much hassle or questioning or want to see proof or sending old stuff back or not. They were really accommodating, really nice on the phone. So it sort of made up for it, but I still didn't have the pieces in the original kit, so it set me back a little bit. Luckily I managed to reconstitute some of the old stuff, which wasn't too bad. Oh, that's the wrong way. So the plan is to get all this on loose, and then I can get it all together and then snug it all up in the end. Because pounds a pinch of brown stuff, you'll start tightening them up. So if I tighten, well, the only parts I have tightened up are these, but I'll start tightening these all up and then it won't fit. Whereas if they're all reasonably loose, they'll fit together, and then you can tighten them all up sequentially, which is our word for the day, which means in a sequence. Shut up, Frank. Now that's all together. All together. Oh, I needed a brake pipe, didn't I? Oh, here's one my dad made earlier. What a guy. See, isn't he nice? That links this rubber hose to the brake caliper. But I can put them on after I've done this. Oh, 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 that's heavy. Okay. Ow, ow. Let's bring that down. That'll be a bit easier. Which nut was it? Was it that one? No. Right, finally, you can see how easy that goes up and down now. Right, that's it. All I'm going to do is tighten this up now, and then tomorrow, or next time, the next video, we'll try and start it. Right, when you tighten these, you really want to go until you start to see stars. You really want to really lean into them until you start to black out. If you wake up on the floor, you've gone too far and you need to come off a little bit. You want to keep going until you start to sweat, until you feel the sweat run down your back, until you start to see stars. Not really, just make sure they're FT. My dad calls FT, which is fucking tight. Yes. But don't strip the bolt, because if you strip the bolt, you're only doing yourself over. Yes. See you next time. Thanks for watching. If you like it, give us a like. If you don't, give us one of those and tell me, well, put down in the comments why. Tell me where I'm going wrong. Get in touch with me if you know anything about these, if there's anything I should know. And apart from that, if you do enjoy the content, please subscribe if you want to see me get on with this. Next video is going to be get some petrol and try and get this fired off. So yeah, see you later. La 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 la. La 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 la. So bringing you in, you can see this. The bushes have all been changed, left and right side, top and bottom, all new bolts. Don't look at that red paint, please. New ball joint, and the new bottom trunnion as well. So all that was quite awkward. The light's not doing very good.